Now, this is the real version of flow control. If I take off my glasses, does that matter? Right? I can still see the clock. Everything's blurry, but let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. Do I look stupider without my glasses? Maybe. Scarcity is the word. The basic theme of this series of thoughts that continuously express themselves in this stream of consciousness art. This is all about art. All art. 100% art. I'm not going to be shy about it. Spirit Wave is extremely epic. It is extreme power to all people, purely, equitably, permanently, by default. Now I understand an initial skepticism to that, okay? I get it. But my hope is that there are enough people around me who come into this and realize, this is going someplace. There is a gear that we need to shift into to generate the momentum that works against scarcity. Scarcity is at the base of conflict. We're not just talking about food. In nature, there's the food chain, right? Nothing personal, says the predator to the prey. Predator needs to eat. That's life. That's nature. That's death. All a part of reality as the totality of whatever happens. But you see, within humanity, putting aside the rare examples of cannibalism, which feel rather nasty to me, but putting that aside, we don't need to eat each other. So the kind of predation, the predation that exists within team society, team humanity in this case, is unnecessary at some point. And the spirit wave is that point. It's the point where we as a species graduate to experience, not theorize, not philosophize, not find some kind of religion. We actually experience the supreme being, which is reality as the totality of whatever happens. It's pure actuality, right? It's might. It's might itself. It's happening right now. It's happening always. You cannot stop it. You can only be a part of it. And same with me. Now, this has been rejected by humanity spanning the entire generation of humanity. And that is the unfortunate tragedy. What happens basically is humanity goes into this and says, hey, circumstances control. I don't really have free will. How am I making my choices? I'm making my choices based upon my circumstance, right? If we're a newborn, what's our free will? What choice do I have? Do I choose my parents, my guardians, Do I choose if I'm in a dumpster as a dumpster baby? I mean, what do I choose? Do I choose my financial status in life? Do I choose my name? What do I choose at that stage of life that shapes my decisions going forward into life, right? What happens there? So free will, they say there's a debate. There's no debate. There is no free will. Reality as the totality of whatever happens, which we are obviously all a part of, is pure might, pure stability, pure balance. We all serve it. We're doing it right now. We have no choice. And the people who want to keep arguing against that need to provide one choice that can possibly be made that is separate from circumstance. One. And of course they don't have it. Even the effort to find it is a choice that comes from circumstance. So there's simply no successfully, intelligently, and honestly arguing against the fact that genuine free will does not exist. Free will is an illusion. It is, without a doubt, and then the question becomes effort. Well, if we don't have free will, then what's effort? Why try? The system is automatic. The system is rigged. Why try? In a word, suffering. Go ahead and stop. Don't really do that, by the way. You don't want to stop. You don't want to stop trying to head towards responsible success because you suffer. So you see, even though free will doesn't exist, even though there's no changing the totality of whatever happens, we still have purpose. The purpose is to live your most responsibly successful life, because if you don't, your suffering increases and eventually kills you. So if you want to be cute about it and say, well, I don't have any free will, so screw it. Well, ironically, it's circumstance that is flowing into you to make that choice to the detriment of your humanity or whatever other subjective expression you may be. But circumstance, in fact, is control. And when we finally recognize and understand that as a species, we graduate to the next level, where scarcity starts to diminish, because conquest, which is about egotistical control, is no longer appetizing to anyone. What's the point? What is conquest? Where are you going? You're gonna go fight reality as the totality of whatever happens, pure might itself? I feel sorry for you if that's your journey, because that's a guaranteed loss. None of us can defeat reality itself. We can't even defy it at all. And the transition for you and anyone out there who is still locked into this, I'm in control. How I define reality is what reality is. And yet that's clearly false, because whatever you're doing right now, you could be masturbating to this. I don't know. But whatever you're doing right now, you are outside of my definitions, my distinctions, my perception. So reality is not what I make of it. And you, right now, doing whatever you're doing on the other side of that lens, you are demonstrating that fact perfectly clearly. And this information is missing, to the best of my knowledge. I haven't seen anybody saying any of this stuff. Scarcity. of key information. So where do we go from here? How do I position myself to make my contribution to the social consensus in a way that is inviting to that consensus? Well, we look at the point of pain, which unfortunately has been globalized. Scarcity, resource scarcity. Purchasing power for most people is going down. And this is why a lot of people are gravitating towards something like gold, the safe haven asset. The spot price of gold is now around $5,000. A couple of years ago, roughly, it was $2,000. So people who have the money to buy gold know something is up. They know that the death spiral. They know that the death spiral is here and basically permanently entrenched in its momentum. And what that death spiral does is it erodes purchasing power of the fiat currencies that we are all relying upon to buy things like food. Now, if all the fiat currencies on the planet just went poof, gone, American dollar, gone, right? We couldn't go to the store to buy groceries. That would be an instant spark to the globalization of violent revolution. As one intellectual put it, if you want a violent revolution, just make sure that enough people cannot afford bread. And that would do it. No one would have access to it. You can't go to the grocery store right now with your gold, your silver, your crypto. In most cases, that's not going to work. You need the fiat currencies to conduct all the transactions, to buy your products, to buy your services. And these fiat currencies have an expiration date. We don't know what the date is. So fiat isn't going to go poof and just disappear, but it is eroding. And it has historically, multiple times, eroded into something called hyperinflation. We all know what inflation is. And monetary inflation is simply adding more money into the monetary system, which reduces the purchasing power of the current money within the system. It's basic economic law of supply and demand. If there's a whole lot of money, money itself becomes easy to get. If there's not a whole lot of money, scarcity creates tension, friction, conflict, scarcity. Civility demands the minimization of scarcity to minimize the conflict that attacks our health and destabilizes our social balance. The fiat currencies are dying because of monetary inflation, basically. And it's not stopping. The people in power are not doing anything at all to reverse the death spiral. They are full throttle. Apparently, just basic reasoning, you're going to break all these currencies and then try to replace it with something else. Now, some people say that's a digital currency, but there are problems with the central digital currency, central bank digital currency, whatever. If you've got a system of currency that is programmatic and the people in power can always instantly know every transaction you're making and know and have the ability to control your transactions, to control whether you can make those transactions, there's a big, for lack of a better word, industry that would suffer monstrously from that. There's one product that I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the most lucrative product in capitalism. One product that stands above basically all other products. And that product is called illegal drugs. Right? Because illegal drugs are cheap to manufacture, and yet the profit margin is stellar, right? So you're going to try to convince me that only the drug cartels are involved in illegal drugs in a capitalistic world at large? You're going to tell me that the people running the world in the private sector and the public sector are not at all invested in the illegal drug trade, when it is the most lucrative way to generate money in the battle for having more money. My estimation is that the illegal drug trade is complex. And the people in power within that system are not going to easily allow a new form of currency that basically makes it impossible for anyone to buy their illegal drugs. So what's going to happen, right? So this is the problem. We are heading into a future that is clouded by monstrous globalized uncertainty. And I'm not going to translate that into a fear-mongering session, because I want composure. The spirit wave is about responsible success. It's about composure. And looking at the situation and saying, what can we do in our lives right now to head in the right direction as individuals and naturally, organically, as a social expression. And I'm looking at the clock here, the blurry numbers, and I want to make sure that I don't go to the 40-minute video. I'm going to try to keep these in the 20-25 minute range. I don't want to be a stickler about it, because what I love about stream of consciousness is I want to flow. I want to let go. I want to just go and not be hindered by scarcity. But I respect your time. I respect, even if you're just one or two people during the publication of these journal entries. Right now, there's no real audience. If you're out there, I appreciate it. Thank you. Would appreciate a like, at least a try to get the algorithm to lock in on this stuff. But I get it. This is a meal that is cooking. This is a buildup that doesn't have that key release. This is a pattern and a groove that is in search of itself, and not one that is clearly defined and readily accessible, something like what Ryan George does in the pitch meetings. I mean, there are countless examples of people making videos on their channel that have a formula, a pattern that is consistent and that people appreciate. So they get a social groove. And I'm trying to find that still. Now, the effort here is kind of like the prequels to the achievement of that goal, which may or may not happen. But of course, I've lived my life with the understanding that I need to at least provide my best in the flow of reality itself to achieve that threshold, to find value for you, for all of us. And if we can do this together, we can at least make the world a better place, because Spirit Wave is the universally shared narrative as a certainty, not a religion, not a philosophy, not an opinion. It's supreme might, and I'm not going down that path right now. I want to wrap it up. I do these videos every other week. It's hard. I'm kind of like someone, I'm an embattled person right now. I have to spend most of my time working a job that is taxing. It takes a lot of my energy. I like to do a good job. I like the team that I'm on. I try to work well with people, and I give my best. So this process here is suffering from scarcity. I live stream. You can see the link before you, more than likely. I do all the editing. I do all the post-production, all the audio work. I have limited help from AI, but I'm still the one cherry-picking the data. I'm the one who's still prompt engineering. I'm still doing the work and all of it. So I can just do this and keep developing this part of my life as an artist. It's integral to who I am. I can't get rid of it. I need to be this expression to find my healthiest stability, to find my healthiest civility. Peace. I hope to see you in a couple of weeks.